child were you thinking about when you press play to this episode? The kid that you get irritated by or offended by, and you know that taking their behavior personally is not helping you or him or her. What I know about you is that I know you love your child. And yet sometimes something about the way they move through their day just really gets under your skin. You hear their words as abrasive or combative, or they're just resistant. And then you react in only the way you do, by hiding in your bathroom, or yelling impulsively, or trying to appease that child, or madly texting your husband at work to complain or decompress. Ask me how I know. But later, you feel ashamed. You ask yourself, why can I not just handle this better? I want you to hear this. That question, how do I stop taking my kids' behavior personally, comes up in virtually every coaching series I have with a woman. Every single one. And every single one, that woman thinks she is unusual. Well, FYI, you are not unusual. And you are not the only one taking kids' behavior personally. We don't often talk about this because we feel embarrassed by this conversation. Sometimes we're embarrassed by our reactivity. Our reactivity doesn't feel like it's a choice that we're making, and we certainly wouldn't be recommending that approach to our kids' behavior to anyone else. We wonder about the potential for harm when we say to our child, I just can't help you right now, or I can't do that thing that you want right now. But really, you're just feeling frustrated by them and you don't want to, or you find yourself yelling and you know that that can't be helpful. So then you feel bad, or you disappear after you feel bad. And we don't always come back to that feeling or the way we're behaving in a way that we would choose if we weren't bugged by that kid's behavior in the moment. FYI, I can name this stuff, but I continue to learn it too. I'm an Enneagram 2, an INFJ on the Myers-Briggs personality profiling system, and I feel my feelings. I feel other people's feelings deeply, whether I want to or not. But I'm going to share with you what has helped me reframe the challenge here, how to stop taking our kids' behavior personally, because this framing really makes sense to me. This framing is called the Enneagram. This past month, in the Confident Homeschool Mom Collective, we read and discussed the book, The Road Back to You, by Ian Morgan Cron and Susan Stable. In a nutshell, I'll quote Ian Morgan Cron by saying this: the book's essence or summary is what you don't know about yourself can hurt you and your relationships. But before we get into this discussion, I want to offer this first. What I've noticed in coaching women who home educate, we are almost always trying to change the behavior of another person, sometimes ourselves. And what we actually need to do is understand the person that we're trying to change, and then understand how those two people are affecting each other when their core motivations collide. Because that's what's happening in those moments. You're not seeing defiance from your child. It's not a child who doesn't care or a mother who can't cope. It is a collision, a friction between you and your kiddo, and it almost always has roots in that collision between two completely different core motivations. Neither of those motivations is wrong. They're just different. But when we presume that our way of moving through the world, our core motivation, is the right way, and that others should probably get there eventually to the way you're doing it, that's when we can get into trouble. Big T trouble. I want to share a tool that has helped me understand the important people in my world, and also you if you're working with me in coaching. It's called the Enneagram, and it's the book that we've been discussing this month in the Confident Homeschool Mom Collective, The Road Back to You. The Enneagram is a personality system that identifies 9 distinct types. But here's what makes it different from other personality tools that I've used, and I've used many. It doesn't just describe what you do, it helps you understand why you do what you do. Most personality tools describe behavior, like Myers-Briggs, introverted versus extroverted behavior, whereas the Enneagram goes underneath behavior to ask a completely different question. What is the core motivation driving everything this person does? What are they moving toward? What are they afraid of? what do they do under stress? And I find it profoundly effective in understanding myself and understanding others. When I understand someone's core motivation, I'm able to tap into it to help them know what next steps will work for them, to understand more about themselves, and to understand how to relate to their kids, their partners, really to anyone important to them. Let me give you a very brief flyover of the 9 types, just enough so you can start to recognize yourself and maybe recognize the people in your home. Type 1 is known as the reformer or the improver. They're principled and purposeful. They strive for improvement and correctness, and they often hold high standards for themselves and others. Their core fear is being wrong or imperfect. Type 2 is the helper, warm and nurturing. They seek to support and care for others, and they thrive on creating meaningful connections. And their core fear? Being unloved for who they are without what they give. That's me, by the way. And when I first heard that, no, please, not that one. FYI, many Enneagram coaches will tell you that the Enneagram type you least want to be, well, that one is likely yours. I relate. Type 3 is the achiever, driven and success-oriented, motivated by accomplishment, often goal-focused and image-conscious. Their core fear? Failure or worthlessness. Type 4s are the individualist, expressive and unique, in touch with their emotions. They seek authenticity and can be deeply introspective and creative. Their core fear is having no identity or significance in the world. Type 5, the investigator, analytical and perceptive. They value knowledge and understanding. They tend to be reserved. They can do serious deep dives or rabbit holes and not come out the other side having any concrete plans, but knowing everything about you fill in the blank. Their core fear? Being helpless or incompetent. Type 6 is the loyalist, security-oriented and responsible, loyal, cautious. They experience anxiety. They're the worst-case scenario thinkers. Their core fear is being without support or guidance. And I've heard once that Type 6s are often the most represented in our culture. Type 7 is the enthusiast, fun-loving and spontaneous. They seek joy and new experiences, and they avoid discomfort at all costs. I've got one of these in my family. Their core fear is being trapped in boredom and pain. Oh, and I'm going to be chatting about her today. Type 8 is the challenger, assertive and protective, strong-willed. They seek justice, and their leadership style can be very direct. Their core fear is being controlled or vulnerable. And Type 9 is a peacemaker, easygoing and accommodating. They seek harmony and peace. They can struggle with inertia. Their core fear is a loss of connection and feeling fragmented. Not one of these motivations is the right or wrong one. We're just all different. And every single one of them is a legitimate way of experiencing the world. By the way, if you don't like being put into a personality box, I want you to know that the Enneagram helps you understand how you can get yourself out of the box that you're already in. If you want to do a deeper dive understanding your Enneagram, 2 thoughts. Don't pay for a test. It really is not required. Just spend time learning about it, and it will get clear to you. And you can join me as a free member of the Confident Homeschool Mom Collective, and I'll give you access to a workshop that I did for homeschool moms in the last few years on each of the Enneagram types and how to understand yourself. Just let me know you want it when you join the collective over on Patreon. So here's a story from my real life. I'll give you a personal example of how I use Enneagram. So I told you I'm an Enneagram 2. One of my kids is an Enneagram 7. I'm the kind of person that I just want to get things done. Check off the boxes. I want to finish up all the things that I've planned. Whereas this 7 kiddo just wants to have fun. By the way, she still does. That's how she is all grown up too. As you can imagine, this can be a significant collision. Neither of us is wrong inherently. Although, to be completely honest, my concept of fun in the first decade of homeschooling was actually to get things done. Do you relate? Whereas my daughter's concept of fun was hanging out with her siblings, playing games, turning every single narration assignment into remarkable Marketing copy. She was very good at that. She always tried to sell me something in her writing. Hilarious. She did not like sitting down. She liked to do studies together with another person, no matter what it was, even if it was super easy. She speaks quickly. She didn't even get that until the last few months. Everyone agreed she speaks quite quickly. It's just her. Way back in the day, she didn't want to take turns. She's learned how to do that. She just wanted to have a conversation, a fun one, right now, with everyone. And if she wasn't winning a game that she was playing, why were we even playing it? She still plays speed with a vengeance. It is only me that has ever won when we play together. Oh, and I should tell you, she has an adorable giggle and big dimples. You know you have an Enneagram 7 kiddo when she has or he has an adorable giggle. So I have a live video clip of me playing a game, Spot It, with my kids, my two youngest kids, and one of my older daughters was video this game playing. I have used this video clip as an intro to many of my earlier YouTube videos. So one kiddo, my Enneagram 7 kiddo, is fiercely trying to win this game of Spot It. And it's happening between her and her brother, who is an Enneagram 1, so he just wants to win because he's doing it right and she should be too. And their Enneagram 9 sister is recording and narrating this heated game from across the room, keeping her sanity and peace. Oh, and when that video stopped recording, what you don't see is that I am getting frustrated. I'm saying, okay, enough. We do not need to be so intense playing a game. We need to be kind to each other. We need to help each other play this game. You can hear my Enneagram 2-ness in this, right? P.S. This is still my approach when anyone plays games. Even if it's the World Cup or NHL playoffs or Super Bowl. Even when I attended Super Bowl with my husband back when it was in Phoenix, you know I would not last as a hockey coach here in Canada because the hockey parents would be incensed at my approach. Back to my Enneagram 7 kiddo, though. Well, I kept trying to redirect the Enneagram 7 energy toward the plan, my plan, toward the list, my to-do list, toward the things I had decided mattered that day. What I eventually learned, partly from her, and partly because I got genuinely tired of not having fun in my homeschool mom life, was that I needed to let fun into my world. Her motivation wasn't wrong. It was actually kind of helpful over the course of time, but I didn't see it early on. It wasn't an obstacle that I had to overcome. I had to make her get to work and do the thing. Certainly felt like that, but I came to understand it's actually a benefit to me to learn how to have fun. That is the Enneagram working. It's not a personality system that tells you who's right and who's wrong. It just helps you to understand each other so you can stop fighting and stop taking your kids' behavior personally. Here's what I want you to take away from this conversation. When you notice a strong reaction to your child's behavior, before you address the behavior or redirect or correct or explain or hide in the closet, just pause for a moment and ask yourself two things. What is my child trying to move toward right now? What am I trying to move toward right now? You actually don't need to know their Enneagram type to ask those questions. You just need to be willing to be curious about them. Kids are not just little people whose behavior needs managing. I'll repeat that. Kids are not little people whose behavior needs managing. P.S. I say that confidently now, but that statement would have bugged me when I first heard it because I definitely put them into right and wrong boxes. I have come to understand that when we accept that we are lovely human beings with strengths and capacities, but also with character challenges, and certainly with biases towards how we show up in the world and what we believe about the world, and that the people in our family have those too, and they are not necessarily ours, then we stop judging ourselves and each other as intensely. We start looking at each other like interesting specimens of humanity. Different, but we can maintain curiosity. We don't have to declare them right or wrong. We can just try to understand them, offer them a listening ear. Or in the words of Stephen Covey, seek first to understand, then to be understood. We need to be willing to listen, even when we don't agree. Ian Morgan Cron, The Road Back to You, says that Enneagram is a tool that awakens our compassion for people just as they are, not the people we wish they would become, so our lives would become easier. But he also says, don't try to change people. Love them. Only in acceptance can people embrace healthy transformation. If you accept them or give them grace, you have a chance for them to change. The Enneagram gives us the opportunity to make that shift, to move from judgment, things are right and wrong, to being curious. And I'm sure this is obvious to you through this discussion, but I just want to put it out there. This conversation applies just as much to your relationship with your partner as it does to your kids. Understanding how your Enneagram type interacts with your partners is some of the most important work you can do for your homeschool family. Healthy relationships where you feel seen, heard, and understood is a basic building block for your happy homeschool mom life. Can I hear an amen? But since most women arrive in conversation with me, initially inquiring about the resistance or frustration with their child or teen, this conversation about Enneagram can be a doorway into building relational resonance with others, aka good feelings between you and your kiddo or between you and your partner. This is why I love the Enneagram so much. It is so applicable in our lives, teaching us to listen, to really deeply listen to the people in our family. It helps you to stop taking your kids' behavior personally. If this episode resonated with you, I want to invite you to the Confident Homeschool Mom Collective. This month in the collective, we've been sitting with these thoughts together, roundtable conversations, a full book club discussion, a writer's room session, and this upcoming Friday, an actionable strategy session where we take what we know about our wiring and our kids' wiring and also our hopes for a meaningful homeschool routine and get curious about our Enneagram types and how to make it all work. The women who show up every Friday will tell you that it feels like a reset, a space where they are truly seen, understood, and encouraged. No competition, no judgment, just compassionate women who have each other's backs. They'll also tell you it's transformed their mindset and helped them homeschool with more confidence, clarity, and a sense of belonging. One of them will tell you it is the only thing she successfully and consistently time blocked in her week. Why? Because the real-time connection with other moms working on so many similar things in themselves, their homes, their families, is unlike anything she's found. We work through common challenges, gain confidence, and connect with women who we probably wouldn't meet anywhere else. That's what's waiting for you in the Confident Homeschool Mom Collective. Your first Friday with us is completely free. Come check us out. See if we are your cup of tea. By the way, I have a lovely garden spearmint tea sitting right beside me here, but I still prefer Rooibos. Find the link in the Confident Homeschool Mom Collective in the show notes, but if you're not quite ready for live sessions, I have something for you. It's called the Homeschool Mama Book Club Newsletter, Reading That Restores Your Heart. Every Wednesday morning, you're going to receive a perspective shift or a meaningful tool in your inbox, drawn from the books that we're exploring together in the book club. You don't have to read the book because I've read it for you. You don't have to attend anything live. You just have to be willing to learn and grow so you can enjoy your happier homeschool mom life. That link is in the show notes too. But I just want to say that if you do have a kiddo or a teen who always feels like a bit of a mystery to you, the one kid whose reactions you cannot predict, whose needs feel remarkably foreign to yours, whose resistance you do not know how to explain, I'd love to think through it with you. Sometimes all it takes is a different lens to help the picture come into focus. So book a free aligned homeschool reset session. And thank you for spending this time with me today. And I mean that, because choosing to listen to something just for you in the middle of all the things is really you deciding that you matter, and you do. I'd love to know how this landed for you. Send me a message on socials or leave a review wherever you listen. It helps other homeschool moms find their way here. And you know what? Every single one of those reviews emboldens me to keep going, to keep offering this, to keep believing that my work matters here. And I want to leave you with this. You are not just the educator, the planner, the one who holds it all together. You are a whole person with needs, desires, and a life worth nurturing. You don't have to overhaul everything. You just have to take one step toward alignment. That is what we do here together. See you next week.